So we were talking in section 8.4 about determinants. How hard is a determinant of a 2 by 2? Easy cheesy, because all we have to remember is mean minus opposite, which some of your classmates are saying like, hey, there's a formula. And there totally is. You can memorize it. Or just remember, multiply the main minus multiply the opposite, and you're good. And we saw there were 3 different notations, including what looks like absolute value, but means determinants for those. Now, how hard are the determinants of a 1 by 1? It's just itself, which gets a little bit complicated if you start using the absolute value notation. So remember, it's determinant, but we wouldn't use it with like one term. That would be way too complicated. But still, finding the determinant is easy. But then what happened when we came here? Now, as you guys heard, my notes got all funky and weird yesterday, but that's okay, because you can see me solve this one again, and you guys don't need to do it. You can just watch. So help me out. When you wrote this down yesterday, what did I ask you to do before we started using any of this? Identify the pattern, and then go ahead and copy it, right? As you copy the pattern, you guys said to cross off, as you circle a certain entry to finish off the row, cross off the corresponding row and column. And we only worked our way across one row. Now, do you remember what I did next? I took the numbers in, the circles, and in front, wait, what did you just write down in this little baby, like down here? It's really hard to see. What sign is in that 0 spot in our example? Positive. What sign is in the next spot? And the next spot. So in front of those numbers, whatever they are, these ones happen to all be positive. But whoever they are, in front, you're going to put a positive and a negative and a positive based on those signs that you just wrote down. But that wasn't it. What else did we have to write? Whatever's left. And whatever's left. And whatever's left. And not just write them, but write them not with brackets, but with indicating determinants, right? And so we took our 3 by 3 and broke it down to 3 2 by 2s, following a certain pattern that you guys didn't even totally understand yet. But then I said, okay, go. And what I meant by go was finish. And what I meant by finish was main minus opposite. So we had 0. Well, wait. Didn't we say about how we love 0? Because 0, everything is just. But then we had our minus 2 times. What's 3 minus 8? And then we had our plus 1 times. What's 0 minus negative 4? And then you guys went to your calculators, and wasn't the determinant positive 10 plus 4 is 14? Woo! But then I said, you know what? There's a name to what we just did. What's the name? Finding the determinant by. And so as we looked at this formula, I said this formula is pretty important. This formula says use any one row or one column. We used row 1, but you could have used anything. The formula actually uses row 1 because there's A11, first row, first column, first row, second column, first row, all the way to the end. And don't you see the little entries being multiplied in front? Wait, the pluses and minuses are missing. Okay, we'll talk about that. But who else is there? This thing called a cofactor. So then we needed to talk about this page, and we ran out of time. So let's figure out exactly how the formula works and what are these things called cofactors. And before we talk about cofactors, you guys wrote that down, right? Before we talk about cofactors, we have to talk about minors. So we're going to get to CMN. We're going to get to what CMN stands for. That's the rest of that formula that we just saw that somehow I used in that whole process 2 pages back. But before we talk about CMN, we're going to talk about MMN, the minor. And check out the minor. The minor just says the determinant, okay, absolute values, of the matrix resulting from ignoring the nth row and the nth row in the nth column. Oh, so wait a minute, hold on. We had minors, didn't we? Isn't this, then, wouldn't this be called, it's what was left when we ignored, right? This would be M11. It's who was left when you ignored the first row, first column. So who would this guy have been? M, 1, 2, ignoring the first row, second column. So who would that guy be? Yeah, you see it? So the minor is just this little extra piece that's left over when ignoring the proper row and the proper column. Now remember, this little guy in front, this is A11, this is A12, this is A13. Well, hold on, isn't that the whole formula? Why is there this thing called a cofactor? The minors and the terms are enough. Wait, what haven't we talked about yet? Okay. The entries go first, the minors go second, and the cofactors put together this idea of the minor and the sign. The cofactors put together this idea of the minors with the appropriate positive or negative sign. That's it. That's all that's extra. Alternating the signs of the minors. The minors say take what's left, and the cofactor says, oh yeah, put a positive with it or a negative with it when multiplying by the entry, whose row and whose column you're ignoring. And that's it. Now the formula makes sense, because the formula says multiply a term by a cofactor who is the minor, the leftover, the little determinant dude, with the proper positive or negative. And that's how we get all of our pieces that you guys saw in the example yesterday. The terms times the leftover dudes with the appropriate signs. There you go. And that brings us to, okay, before we do another determinant, they're like, are you sure you have it? Now the nice thing is, the example that you guys just saw is a little baby 2 by 2. It's not even hard, but it actually might be harder because it's so easy. It might be harder because it's so easy. But in homework, you have a few problems that say, find the cofactors, find the minors. Don't even do the big, long formula. Just tell us that you know what cofactors are. Tell us you know what minors are. So I'm going to go ahead and dual page. I think you guys can see enough if you're still taking those notes. But once again, I chose an easy example just so we can do it fast. So there are 4 different possible minors just from this whole entire matrix. We're not doing determinants right now. 4 different minors. There's M11, M12, M13, and M. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. There is no 1, 3. Okay. You need to go to the second row, right? Second row, first column, second row, second column. Minor says, take whoever's there, circle him, ignore his row, ignore his column, and who's left. All right. So circle 1, 1. Who's in that spot right now? 0. Good. Ignore his row, ignore his column. Who's left? 4. Careful. The absolute value actually mean absolute value. It means, so what's the 4? It's itself. Okay, that's hard, right? That's hard. But yeah, the minor is just going to be -4. But how about 1, 2? Who's in that spot?
3.
No. First row, second column. 10. Ignore first row. Ignore second column. Who's left?
3.
Okay, good. And then 2, 1. Who's in that spot? 3. Ignore. Who's left?
10.
And then M2, 2. Who's in that spot? Ignore. Who's left? Does that make sense? Minors just say take what's left. Cofactors, remember there was an A and a B. Cofactors now bring in what Tyler was trying to talk about up here. Now think about the signs. So if I was to make a little sign chart of this guy for my cofactors to alternate the signs, do you guys notice what was the same amongst all of these? Whatever the size, you always start with a, so positive, negative, negative, positive. Do you see how to alternate? I had to go negative there and there. And then alternate. Okay, cool. Alternating. So who goes where for cofactors for C11, C12, C21, and C22? It says take the minors, take the -4, take the 3, take the 10, take the 0, but say, hold on. Who was I using to get there?
0.
What sign should that have had? Which meant keep it the same. And what's keeping it the same? But when I came here, this came from here, ignore, ignore, so what sign does it go with? Switch or opposite. So when Tyler said, shouldn't it be a -3, she was totally right. The cofactor should be. What we're going to use for our determinant should be. But the minor would have just been a normal 3. So then 2, 1, right? What sign? Got it. And then 2, 2, what sign? Stays the same. And if 0 stays a 0, I guess it wouldn't have made a difference at all for that one. But that's just making sure that we know what the terms mean, minors and cofactors. But beyond just knowing what the vocab is, what was the point of all of this? To know how to find, if you can read it, determinants. So let's go back and say, okay, now that we've learned all the vocab and the formula behind what I did yesterday, let's see if we can do it again on our own. Maybe not on our own. Maybe that's a little bit too early for that. Let's just see if we can do it together. Now, homework is going to be a little bit weird in some sections because it's going to ask you to solve the same problem 2 different ways. It's going to ask you to solve the same problem 2 different ways. Now, not all of them are this nasty, and I'm saying this one's nasty because do you guys notice there are absolutely no zeros? I'd really love to have a 0 because then that means a whole term I don't have to do. But none of these are zeros, so that's okay. And if the book says to use something, go ahead and try using that as far as expanding by cofactors along this row or this column. You're going to be doing it twice. Not for, please believe me, not for all of homework, just for part of it. Because they're trying to give you some experience on, okay, if I always just choose the first row, sometimes there are faster things to choose. Okay, row 2. If we use row 2, you guys have the matrix written down? You could rewrite this 3 different times and do your circling and cross-crossing, but maybe we can do it without having to write it 3 different times? Or 6 different times? Okay, ready? Row 2. Do you guys see that I'm going to have 3 different additions? Does that make sense? I'm breaking a 3 by 3 into 3 2 by 2s. What entries am I going to have at the beginning of each of these before my determinants? 6 and, well, we should go in order though. Row 2. 6, 3, 1. Now hold on. Thinking about cofactors, before we start getting our minors, what signs do we need to establish? Who would go in front of the 6? Because positive, negative. And now we alternate, right? So negative, opposite. Positive, keep it the same. Negative, opposite. Is that okay? Because in row 2, it would have been a negative, a positive, a negative, in keeping with our entire pattern. What would column 3 be as far as signs? It is 2, 1, negative 8, but what would our signs be? Positive, negative. You see it? Plus, minus, plus. Plus, minus, plus. So column 3 is going to be that way. Okay, what are we missing? What's the vocab for these? Cofactors. Careful, cofactors have this. Minors, there you go. So whose 6 is minor? Ignore 6's row and column. Who's left?
4, 2,
Okay, if you got that, fill in the rest and then go doing main minus opposites and solve. If you didn't get that, let me help you visualize for just a second. If you get it, do the other 2, and then try to do main minus opposites to finish. Check it in your calculator, see if you got it. If you didn't get it, we're dealing with The first guy in row 2, 6. We're ignoring his row and ignoring his column, and we're taking whoever's left. But as soon as I start crossing off stuff, it makes the next few kind of more complicated, so I'm trying not to write that every time. So this next, I'm ignoring 3's row and 3's column, and if you guys are able to pay attention, I think we get -3, 2, and 4, -8, yeah? So is anybody like, no, I got this? If you ignore 1's column, what's left? Got it. So why was I saying main minus opposites to finish? What are you supposed to be doing next? Go for the determinants. Good. That's a little bit nasty. -32 plus 14. But did anybody get 18 for that? Yeah. But I think it's a -32 plus. Isn't that a -18? Yeah, -32 plus 14 would be a negative. And then I have 24 minus 8, which I believe is 16, right? Then I have 21 minus 16, which would end up being 5. Now remember, if you beat me, throw this in your calculator. You're practicing your calculator also, that DET operation. I see this guy is 48. I see that's just -5. If I do a quick little, just showing you my mental math, I'm doing it in my head. It's 48 and carry the 4. We end up with all positives. That's going to be 43 and 43 and 8. I believe it's 151. But has anybody gone to the calculator and seen if that was right? However, technically, what is the problem saying to do? That was literally just part. So why? Oh, why? Okay, maybe we don't totally understand why, but how does it work if they say column 3 instead? The same. Yeah, I agree, Selma. So you guys tell me what to do. Say it one more time, Priscilla. Cross. Yeah. So what are the numbers I'm going to use for? Where are the signs going to be? Oh, we already did that, right? Positive, negative, positive. Okay. Keep it the same. Opposite. Keep it the same. And then who are my minors for 2? Your brains are doing it, yeah? You're ignoring, seeing. For 1, do you guys agree with -3, 4, 4, -7? Yes. Sweet. Then tell me the last one. Oh, yeah. So what am I going to tell you to finish? Determinants. What, Matthew? Yeah, we already did our positive, negative, positive. But the minors are going to be a little bit different because we're choosing different orders. Does that make sense? Same answer, but we can't use any of the same word because it's really different. So go ahead.
I understand everything, but what is the main minus opposite?
Oh, we have to take the determinants to finish off. The determinant formula was A minus BC, and so my way of remembering it is multiply the main, -42, minus the opposite 12. Is that cool? So -42, doing that, -42, minus 12, gives me -60, yeah? Minus 1 times, and I have 21 minus 16. Oh, it's 42. I don't know how I went to 48. Sorry, thank you. -42 minus 12 is -54. And then I have minus 8 times -9 minus 24. Now some of you are like, there's no way this is the same. But hold on. This is -108. This is -5. And this is a positive. Oh, that's a huge number, though, because that's 24 carry the 2 and 264. Oh, maybe it's not that bad. Because we're going to have 113 and 264 and subtract the 2. And so we end up with 1 6 minus 1 is 5, and 2 minus 1 is. Did it make a difference? You can choose for determinants any one row and any one column, and guess what every single one should end up at? The determinant. No! What's the size of this guy? So it's going to be brutal, except what is so much easier than both of the other examples combined? So what do you think I'm going to use? Yeah, column 3, totally, because then I can go ahead and say, hey, I have a 6 and I have a 3, and I don't need to worry about the other two, because it'd be 0, 0, poof, gone. Oh, but wait a minute, hold on. What are my signs? Plus, minus, plus, minus. Okay, so plus, minus. Uh-oh, but why am I making these bigger? Oh. You guys see it? To do the determinant of a 4 by 4, you're going to have 4 3 by 3s. Oh, whew, this one's only 2, but they're still 3 by 3s. So I have 2 7 6 and 1 5 1 and 3 7 7. And if I was to do the 3, I would have 2 6 2, 2 7 no, that's the one that's crossed off. 1 5 1. Now what? Same thing. Oh, I have to do it twice? Yeah. But hold on. Let's go ahead and make like a big old addition problem. We'll go like that. We'll do this guy on top, and we'll do that guy on bottom. And who do you think, what row or column do you think I would use? Just trying to keep it as easy as possible. I kind of like the ones, don't you? I don't know. Is that just me? So 6 is going to be multiplied by 1, 5, 1. What are the signs going to be? Oh, stink. Do we go back here? No. Just stay here. Positive, negative. Negative, positive, negative. You guys see it? And then I have my little baby minors. So that's going to be 7 6 7 7. 5 is going to be 2 6 3 7. And 1 is going to be 2 7 3 7. Okay, it's not gorgeous, I know, but it's possible. It's not near as bad as if I were to have 4 of them. And the more zeros, the merrier. You don't get big ones like this very often. So what's my next one going to be? Now that you guys have seen me do one, how do I keep going? Negative 3 times, what row do you guys want to use? Same? Okay. So, wait, aren't I still going to have negative, positive, negative? Yes. Okay. What's left over from the 1? What's my minor? Okay. That was a minus. Now I get a plus. What's left over from the 5? I think it's 2 2, right? Remember the 5, circle, cross, cross, 2 2, 3 7. Minus, plus, minus. And who's left at the last one? Yeah, you guys are doing a great job. Whew! All right, well. Yeah. 2 by 2s. Yeah. Because these are minors, I'm stuck until I get them down to the main minus opposite. So now it's a lot of math. Are you guys okay if I just kind of bring in the 6 now? I don't know. So that'd be negative 6 times 49 minus 42 is 7. And then I have 6 times 5 is 30 times 14 minus 18 is negative 4. And then I have 6 times 1 minus 6 times 14 minus 21 is negative 7. Plus, I'm going to distribute my negative 3 if you guys don't mind. So, thank you, sir. Negative 3 and negative 1 is plus 3, right? Let's see, 42 minus 14. Ugh. It's going to be 28. We just lost our little doorstop. Minus 15, gotta distribute that 3. 14 minus 6 is 8. And then plus 3. 14 minus 18 is negative 4 again. Whew, we're almost there. Wait, isn't that a negative 42 and a positive 42? All right, now what? Negative 120. That's that guy. Plus, that's going to be 60, 84? 4, carry the 2, 6 and 8. Minus 8 15s, that's 4 30s, which is another 120. And then minus 12. Somebody might want to go throw this guy in your calculator and let's see if it's working out. Negative 120 is negative 240. Negative 252 plus 84. We can take away the 52 and we have 32. Negative, I think it's 168. Double check my math. Has anybody gotten DET in their calculator yet? Someone get it in. Joe's trying. Priscilla, go ahead.
So do we have to do this one twice? Like, do we have to do it?
Oh, no. You only do it twice when the book says try this row, try this column, and they're trying to show you just the reminder of it working multiple ways. Whew. Anybody? Oh, we're still trying. Nehemiah's trying. Joe's trying. Help me zoom in. It's negative 168. Well, remember, as they're trying, guys, we got to enjoy our party, don't we? Okay, let me see if everything is open. Most of it is. Let me see if it's real quick. Remember how we were supposed to start section 8.5? Oh, this problem's disgusting. Wait, it's a 2 by 2. Just a homework help real quick. 2 by 2. It's not disgusting. Come on. All you got to do is what? Main minus. Can you guys do that on your own? Okay. Pause. And we learned how to use our calculator. Make you a deal. We won't do any more of 8.5 if you get the first page written down. Go. And as you do that, let me get off the rest of the packaging and the tape and all that stuff. I will count. Be careful if you're allergic, don't eat these ones. If we get this page of notes down, I'll let us be done for the day. So get this page. Cause. Okay, those cute ones are open. Those cute ones are open. Open, open, open. Our pi over 3. I'll be like the, what is it in the Bible? The one that always had the cupbearer, right? To make sure it wasn't poisoned. Definitely not poisoned. Maybe not.